pig individually, but like, what do you think about him, and kind of where would you start him out?
Pretty good.
Let's even take a little bit farther. Somebody just dropped that in the barn. That's a pig. Where would you want him? Where would you want him at feed wise?
I would say on that particular pig, it results back to the amount. I still think to keep the top side of his neck and to keep him cute enough up front, a guy's still going to have to keep him on a little 18 at the beginning, just to see where you're at. Because I do think that that pig, if you go directly to a 16 or a smooth, we could get him a little plainer. So I would see what he does with about a cup of 18G and then go from there. Because I do think that eventually a guy needs to go to a coast on that one, or a smooth, or vice versa, and maybe mix that in with your 18. I know that coast and 18 have worked really, really good together for a lot of people. So I think eventually get to that, but I do think the limit feed thing and keeping his protein a little higher. And I'll be honest with you on this one, I wouldn't be scared to not do starter and do 803, just because he looks like he's an eater that's going to attack a feeder. So I would probably go half 803, 3/4 18G is what I would do when I got him home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is
what would you do, Brad?
I feel like I'm still learning, and I like full tank so much, and maybe I'm relying on it so much. I feel like I can keep rear rib in that animal with full tank and then reduce the amount. You and I are looking at things very similarly, because I like to feed a low level of high concentrated feed. So I'd keep his protein up, but feed a very low level of it, and then I'd replace the remaining portion of his diet with full tank. The little thing about full tank, I'll tell you, is that it's not that they don't love to eat it. I mean, it's about like Brussels sprouts, and I don't let my kids set the diet. Otherwise, they'd be opening the freezer door more than the goodies side where all the fresh stuff comes out of. But we train our pigs to eat full tank. I've got to give credit to Brandon Yanis on that. He really kind of put our family onto that. I probably didn't stick with it the first year because the pigs would kind of leave it. And then we started grinding it up in a little coffee grinder and train them to eat it. Now, I'd tell you about half of them love it, and half of them don't. But at the end, they all eat it. And so I'll maintain a freshness of fill and rear flank with full tank, and then I feed a low level of high protein. This is a pig that his going away view and that pin set would have me pretty excited. I'm kind of like Blake. I know at some point, to be competitive, this pig's going to eat game on. If he does that too soon in his life, I'm going to ruin him. I'm going to get him, I want to get him lean enough so that I can add as much bulk and mass down top, because that's a guy that looks like he's kind of playing for the top end of the show. We're not looking for a sale spot with that one. And so I think a lot of the party offer work very, very, very well. And so we've got to be very careful with things that are adding fat on a pig like this, because I think that looks like an efficient animal that's going to throw muscle or fat on very, very quickly. And so we got to get our timing right with him.